Guys, it's Matt. I've had this Shelby Daytona Factory 5 Type 65 kit, whatever you want to call it. I've had it for almost 5 years now. Just hit 12,000 miles. Just wanted to do a quick review. I really like this car. I'm happy with it. For the price, you're not going to get the same performance, attention, practicality, and comfort out of any car. But there are a few drawbacks. First of all, you either have to build it yourself or you're going to have to inherit somebody else's problems. And so there has been a couple things that I've needed to fix on it, but minor things, because this one is decked out. It's got all the options on it. Got when it was built, it had new Gen 2 Coyote Tremec TKO 600 or 500 rather. Independent rear suspension, front and rear sway bars, big Willwood brakes. It's got subs in it. It's got a real nice interior that I added a little bit of things to. Mid-20s gas mileage, I'm pretty happy with that. And it's just a great car. It's very practical, got a big trunk, got subs, and if I were to build one, I wouldn't have put a big stereo in it, and I'm glad I did, because it's just a real nice feature. Of course, got a manual transmission in it, 5-speed. I don't think you can order this with a 6-speed, so that is a big downside. But I don't think a T56 transmission will fit in that transmission tunnel. I like the paint. I wouldn't have spent so much time and money on the paint job. I would have just done a real basic paint job, even though that's really what makes it pop. But yeah, there's a lot of things I like about it. I'm glad I put 12,000 miles on it. Very practical, good gas mileage, gets a lot of attention at car shows. And for under 100,000, I don't think you're going to beat this car as far as attention and reliability and holding the value and all that goes. I'm not going to reach the limit of this car ever. The engine is stock, and I wouldn't want any less or any more power than that, honestly, even after almost 5 years of ownership. I think it's just the right amount of power. Independent rear suspension, independent front suspension, as you guys saw, with the optional sway bars. I really like all that. I will get all that again, even though I'm not ever going to reach the limit of it, like I said. But the brakes, yeah, I would not have gone with those. I spent the money on those. Guys, so here it is, the Gen 2 Coyote in my Daytona. Fits really tight. I think that this is Gen 3 Daytona chassis. I think they made it specifically so it would be wide enough to fit that wide Coyote. So one downside to the Coyote is packaging. Boy, it is a big and a little bit heavier engine than the LS. So with all this room in the engine bay, it looks pretty tight, but it was pretty easy to work on. I replaced the clutch and the rear main seal, took the transmission off and everything. Wasn't too bad. There's a cross member underneath the transmission that made it kind of difficult, but I was able to get it out. And so it's a pretty practical car when you think about it, as far as working on it goes. You know, if you build it yourself, you know exactly where you might have screwed up. And that is one thing about these Daytonas, is if you're going to buy one of these secondhand, make sure you at least have some mechanical knowledge that you can tell if something's not right, so it doesn't become a bitter issue. Like, you know what your gauges are usually at. You know this noise, that noise, whatever. If something's not running right, you can take it to a shop. A lot of people won't work on these. I haven't had an issue. I took it to a shop one time, and they loved working on it because all the room in the engine bay. But I mostly do everything, and I've had to work out quite a few bugs, and they're going to mostly be electrical gremlins. More aerodynamic, might get a little bit better gas mileage. But speaking of that, with gas prices where they are, I'm driving this instead of my pickup, because I get mid-20s with this Coyote, and like I said, it's pretty light and aerodynamic and everything. One thing about these is, well, the doors are really difficult to line up. So you're going to get some wear on your weather stripping, so just understand you're going to have to replace that. You're going to get your paint worn out. I will say these Kirky seats are not the most comfortable, but I think you need them because it's really hard to get in and out of this car, and they give you a little bit more space than the just the factory seats that come with it. This kit has every option that Factory 5 offers. Got the biggest Willwood brakes, and this is one thing that I would have opted out if I would have, ordered the kit from Factory 5 themselves. Is I just would have gotten the stock Mustang front and rear brakes that come with the kit. It's no extra charge or anything. So I believe they take that charge out if you upgrade to the Willwood brakes. The body panels are really, really difficult to line up, and they will actually, I've noticed they change with the heat. I drive this year round. The doors in the summertime, you got to adjust them. You got to adjust them in the wintertime when it gets cold, because I guess that fiberglass will shrink and stretch. I've had a couple people scratch my car. I've had a hit and run in this car, and it's not worth the headache to get the little bit extra attention to make a 10 out of 10 paint job, in my opinion. And one thing that you'll notice is watch your passengers getting in and out, because they're going to scratch this part with their toes because they don't care. And if you sling your seat belt, you'll bang up your door panel. So maybe put like a leather door card on there, or metal, aluminum, or something to class that up a little bit.